Hello guys and welcome you back on another session of question and answer series. Today I am going to discuss cumulative topic which contains three topics together: coordination chemistry, halogen, at the same time D block. So without any further delay, let's get started. Now let's look at the first question, and it is asking about which of the following species is not a pseudohalide. So you know what is the characteristics of a pseudohalide? That it mimics halogen, means it copies the property of halogen. Like halogen forms X minus, Br minus and I minus form precipitate with silver ion, AgCl, AgBr Na. So like that these anions also does. In the same way they form precipitate. So there are so many pseudohalide. Now how to identify them? So one of the characteristic feature of the pseudohalide is it contains at least one nitrogen and it should be mononegative. So as you can see here, -1 is there, -1 is there, -1 is there. This contains nitrogen, this contains nitrogen, this contains nitrogen, but this molecule do not have that. This species do not have. So the correct answer will be second for this. Now moving to the question 52. A gas X is passed through the water to form a saturated solution. The aqueous solution on treatment with silver nitrate gives white precipitate. The moment you read this word white precipitate, immediately you should anticipate that there is a chance of silver over here. So how this reaction is possible? So that means that gas X, so which gas gives chloride ion Cl minus, so that is Cl2 when dissolved in water, it forms HCl along with HOCl. So after saturation, what will happen? This HCl, when you take Ag plus inside it, it will form a precipitate of AgCl. So there is a chance of this chlorine gas. Now let's look at the other part of this. Now the aqueous solution forms precipitate with silver nitrate, okay, and the saturated aqueous solution dissolves magnesium ribbon also, and evolution of the colorless gas Y. As you know that magnesium is very powerful reducing agent. So magnesium reacts with HCl to form MgCl2 and evolves hydrogen gas. So that means that the gas that they are talking about, Y, colorless gas Y, that is nothing but hydrogen gas. So my answer will be X is chlorine and Y is hydrogen. So which is actually third option. Now let's talk about another question. Question number 54. So what it says, what product are expected from disproportionation reaction of hypochlorous acid? Now this is really important. Now just look at here, hypochlorous acid means HOCl. Now what is the oxidation number of chlorine? +1. Now what do you understand by the term disproportionation? Disproportionation means if you are going to heat it from -1, from +1, it will undergo oxidation also in higher state, and it will also go in lower state. So what is the lower state of Cl plus? It may be Cl0, it may be Cl -1. So when you are going to heat it, it forms HCl as one of the product, that is -1. And other product that it forms is HClO3, where its state is +3. So the correct answer is fourth one, where we have HCl and HClO3, means reduction as well as oxidation is taking place. That's what the disproportionation means. Now even if you do not know this reaction, then also you can figure it out by option checking as well. Now just look at the option 1. They have given 2 chlorine whose oxidation number is +1 and +5. Now disproportionation means what? It decreases also and increases also. So from +1 to +1 if it is going, that means no change, means it is only increasing, so it cannot be a disproportionation. Like that here also you can see in these two cases also the higher oxidation state other than +1 is there. And in this particular case, you see -1 is given, but there is no increase from +1 to +5. There is no increase. Just pardon me, here +5 is there. Alright, so my correct answer, as I told you, will be 4th only. Now let's discuss next question, and what exactly it is asking, that which among the following is most reactive. Now how to identify it? You know, in the case of reactivity of halogen, the overall order of the reactivity is fluorine comes first, thereafter chlorine, thereafter bromine, and thereafter iodine. Let me remind you one thing, that the reactivity is not decided only by bond energy, because in that way the bond energy of iodine is lowest. Okay, so bond energy is not the only parameter. Bond energy, thereafter electron affinity, thereafter hydration energy when you are talking about. So all three combined energy term is taken care. In that, fluorine comes first. So F2 is most reactive. But when you are comparing interhalogen, like look at this. One of the example that they have given is ICl also. So how to compare now? So obviously, if you will talk about chlorine, bromine and iodine reactivity is as it is. Now the question is where to place this ICl. So ICl interhalogen reactivity is more, the reactivity of ICl is actually more than I2 and Cl2 for the two reasons. Number one, that bond energy is less as compared to chlorine, this bond can easily be broken. And another thing is, this is polar also. ICl, because of chlorine is more electronegative, this is polar as well. So these two property of this is making it more reactive than both of them. So my answer would be ICl. Now one thing you need to remember here, if fluorine is given, then fluorine is highest in terms of reactivity, thereafter only we will get any interhalogen like ICl and any other thing. So moving to the next question, and what it says, consider the compound cesium XY2 where both X and Y are halogen. Which of the following statement is or are correct? Now first please understand that whenever I am writing X and Y2 and that too negative with cesium positive, so definitely X will be a larger halogen and this Y will be smaller one, right? So it is just like this. Suppose if I took I, then Cl2 minus, we can correlate with this example and we will get the perfect answer. So ICl2 minus is made up of what? ICl2 minus is made up of ICl along with Cl minus. Iodine is at the center and this Cl will basically donate the pair of electron and form a dative bond. So as you can see here, chlorine is more electronegative, so it is -1 and this is in +1 state. Now let's read the statement. X and Y have different oxidation state, yes, which is very clearly visible from here, that one is having +1, other is having -1. For Y with lower atomic number than X, X can assume oxidation state higher than normal. Now I think there is little correction in the language, whereas let's focus on the other part. What it says that X can assume oxidation state higher than normal. So what is, because X and Y both are halogen, so what is the common oxidation state of X? That is -1. But look at here, the oxidation state of X, which is iodine here. Here it is in +1 state. So obviously it is higher than the normal state. So that statement is also correct. Such compound exists because cesium plus have high charge to size ratio. My dear, cesium is the largest cation possible, metallic cation possible. Lithium plus to cesium plus, if you go down the group, the size increases. So if size will increase, charge to size ratio will decrease. If size will increase, then this will decrease. So this is wrong. So the correct answer will be 1 and 2, which is there in the option 2. Now let's move to the another question. Question number 57. So what it is asking, that concentrated sulfuric acid reacts with chloride, bromide and iodide and produces HCl, whereas for the remaining two it produces directly the halogens. So what it is trying to say, that when you have Cl minus, then with H2SO4, right, what we are getting? HCl as a gas. So basically from -1 to -1, that means it is not oxidizing, simply transferring its proton. Whereas with Br minus and I minus, the same H2SO4 is actually converting them into Br2 and I2. Now they are asking with respect to this means this is acting as an oxidizing agent. Here it is not acting as an oxidizing agent. So from here, can we say that Cl2 is more powerful oxidizing agent than H2SO4? Then only it is possible. Otherwise, if H2SO4 is more powerful than Cl2, then H2SO4 can oxidize this from Cl minus to Cl2, right? And obviously thereafter, as you can see that H2SO4 have oxidized Br minus into Br2 and I minus into I2. So we can conclude that this is more powerful than this and this. So the final order will be what? Cl2, H2SO4, thereafter Br2 and I2 will come at the end. So what is the right answer according to this? So Cl2, H2SO4, Br2 and I2. I'll go with the second option. Now let's talk about the next question, 58th one. Now what it says, iron exhibit +2 and +3 oxidation state. Which of the following statement about the iron is incorrect? Now ferrous oxide is more basic in nature than ferric oxide. So as you know that iron +2 and iron +3, iron +2 is having less polarizing power, and because of this it will form more it will form oxide with a more ionic character, like FeO or FeOH whole twice will be more ionic as compared to FeOH whole thrice. So if you compare these two, obviously this is more ionic. More ionic means more basic. So that means this statement is correct, but they are asking incorrect. Okay. Now ferrous compounds are relatively more ionic than corresponding ferric compound. Yes, that's true. Ferrous compounds are less volatile than the corresponding ferric compound. That is also true, because more the ionic character, less will be the volatility. Means this plus and minus forces will be stronger, and because the covalent character is not there, so the chances of getting out in the form of molecule will be less. So yes, ferrous compounds are less volatile because of more ionic character as compared to ferric. So what we are looking for, the volatility, more the covalent character, easily something can be volatile. Now you just look at this one. Ferrous compounds are more easily hydrolyzed than the ferric compound. Now here it is wrong. This statement is wrong. Why? Because if you talk about iron +3, FeCl3, so it is having +3 charge. So water readily attacks here and removes chloride ion from here. Okay, so because Fe is in +3, so it have more affinity towards water as compared to Fe +2. So which means that ferric will hydrolyze faster than ferrous. But what it is written, that ferrous compounds more easily hydrolyzed. So that means this is wrong, and they are asking incorrect statement. So this will be the right answer. Now moving on to the next question. Which of the following arrangements do not represent the correct order of property stated against it? Now as you can see here, spin only magnetic moment they are asking. So what is the corresponding ionic configuration of vanadium, chromium, manganese and iron in +2? So vanadium will be D3, whereas chromium will be D4, whereas next one will be d5 and next one will be d6. Now as you can see that in phi, d subshell have phi orbitals, right? So if you have 1 or if you have 2 or if you have 3, even if you have 4, even if you have 5. So from d3 to d5, the unpaired electrons are from 3, 4 and 5. But when it comes to d6, that means iron plus 2, in that case one extra electron is there, so that will be paired up here. So how many unpaired electron we received? 4. So it will come once again 4. So this is not the correct order. Okay, from 3 to 4 to 5 means from here till okay, but thereafter it is wrong. So they are asking does not represent, so answer directly it will come 4. Now if you want to check the other option, you can go ahead. So as you know, when you move from left to right, Mn, Fe, Co, Ni, so manganese have larger atomic size, and even when it comes to ionic also, then it decreases like this only. So relatively ionic sizes are more regular as compared to the normal metal sizes, right? Similarly, if you look at this stability in aqueous solution, so you already know that, nothing is hidden to you, that scandium most stable state is only +3. In fact, it is the only state which it shows, right? And thereafter chromium, thereafter iron, thereafter cobalt. You can verify with the help of their the value of E0 M plus 2 to M plus 3, right? So chromium is more stable in +3, whereas iron +3 and cobalt +3, they tend more towards +2. So obviously the stability order is this only. Now the number of oxidation state, as you know that for manganese the configuration is D5 and S2. You know it starts from 2 and ends up to 7. So yes, of course it is having highest, so up to +7, this is up to +6, this is up to +4, and this you know that exclusively shows +3. So that is also correct. So that means yes, one is incorrect. That's what they were asking also. Now moving to the next question, 60th. Which of the following weigh less than the weight in the magnetic field? Which of the following weight less than weight in magnetic field? Now please understand this. They are trying to say that their true weight is actually less than the weight when weighted in magnetic field. So which of the following weight less when weighted in magnetic? No, actually they are asking that in the magnetic field, suppose if magnet is there, right? In that case, which of the following will be weighted less? When it will be possible? When that magnet will repel it? When that magnet will repel it, then only it will get an external upward forces, because you know that the weight of anything has to do with its normal force. How much normal force that it is applying to the any weighing machine. So as you know through the Newton's law, that one of the forces that is operating here is mg, its normal or true weight you can say with multiplied by g, and the normal obviously the experienced weight by the any weighing machine, and it is saying that it is weighing less. That means normal is basically less than mg. When it will be possible? So it will be possible only if it is getting repelled by magnetic field. So which type of compound is repelled in the magnetic field? So yes, the one which is diamagnetic. So you can see here scandium +3. Scandium +3 if we will talk about. So its configuration will be basically D0 and S0. Means there is no unpaired electron at all in this. So it's the only diamagnetic substance. So diamagnetic substance will be repelled, so its weight will decrease. So answer will be 1. Now moving to the question number 61. The colorless ion among the following is, right? Now they are asking colorless ion. Here you should understand that for color there are multiple reasons, not only one. But out of those the most popular is DD transition, right? And for DD transition we should have electronic configuration from D1 to D9. That means it should not be empty and it should not have D10 also. In these two cases there will not be any DD transition. So if you look at the copper +1 ion, copper is having configuration of D10 and S1. If you remove the electron from here, it will become D10 only. So this is the correct answer. Now one important thing that you should note it down here, that whenever we talk about KMnO4, we say that any reducing agent decolorizes the color of this one in acidic medium, right, in acidic medium, and it goes into Mn+2. Actually we are told every time that Mn+2 is colorless, but it's not like that. Its color is light pink, absolutely light, very light pink, right? So it is very close to colorless, but you know this is intense, it is intense color. So roughly we say that KMnO4, the color of KMnO4 is decolorized by reducing agent, but in actuality the color is there, but that is very very light. Okay, so please don't get any confusion. So correct answer will be 2 only. That's the end of the part 1, guys. If you want to see the other part, the link is given in the description box. So guys, if you want more videos like this, like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest videos.